guys. Monday. Good morning, you guys. All right, let me get this positioned. Oh, hey, honey, did you change the LED sign stuff? Perfect. Amazing. Melissa! Mel, what's up? Good morning, Nicole Fu. How the heck are you? Oh, don't use that shoulder, Charity. Life is a puzzle. Welcome in. Pig Shop says, I need some help. I'm a reseller. I'm here to help. Hopefully I can help you. Welcome in, you guys. Good morning. Happy Monday. I am Charity, aka Nice Comps. I have been off of the platform for a week, which seems insane to me. So I'm very happy to be back. So let's get this pinned here. Perfect. Don't use that shoulder. Thrift Talk, welcome in, my friend. Haven, welcome in. AV David is here. Urban Vintage, Autumn, Christy, the Crimson Magpie, Thrifty Mama. Good morning, you guys. Brittany Walker, walking in here. I see you, Miss Walker, coming in here. Just getting on in. Winter's Apparel, welcome in. Seabeard is here. JV, good morning. My neighbor is leaving. This side note, squirrel moment. Good morning, you guys. I've missed you guys too. Welcome in. So, for those of you who don't know me and you're just like randomly stumbling on here, my name is Charity, aka Nice Comps. I am a full-time reseller out of the South Austin, Texas area. I do this with my husband Justin, also known as Justin. Justin. It never gets old. Daily Roulette. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. I'm very happy to see you. So I wasn't on the platform last week. I got so many nice messages. I have been told to not use this shoulder as much as humanly possible. So I have not been checking my phone. But Justin told me that so many of you guys sent me like get well wishes and messages. And so I'm giving everybody a verbal thank you right now for doing that. It was a rough week last week. Country Cottage, welcome in. Kaylin Thrift finds for you. Welcome into the party. I hope you guys are having a great day. It's Monday, so that means we're doing reseller support show. So today what we're going to be doing is working together. So I'm going to be steaming some clothes. I'm going to be taking pictures of some clothes. I'm going to be answering questions about reselling. If you guys have questions about shipping, you got questions about Whatnot or the Bay or Poshy or Depop or Carime. I don't know anything about Etsy, so don't ask me questions about that one. I don't know anything about neuroscience. However, I have watched a good amount of Grey's Anatomy, so I do believe I know how to do a heart surgery at this point. Your thrift parlor, welcome in. Noel, good morning, you guys. Yeah, so for those of you that are wondering what was going on last week, I pulled my pectoral muscle. So it's like the muscle that goes underneath your chest plate right here. And it was horrible. So this arm has been like dead arm. I mean, a lot of you guys I know follow me probably on social media. I know we follow each other over on like Instagram or TikTokies. So you probably saw the video Justin so beautifully made of me with an ice pack on. I have something called hypermobility. And so what that means is when my tendons move, they tend to go too far. They're hyper just like me. And so they stretch. And then what happens is they go boing and they snap back. And when they snap back, they instantaneously get inflamed. I know a lot of you guys have seen this. I live with this on my knee because it happens to my knee all the time if I don't do it. I live with KT tape constantly on my shoulder and my back. It's just something I deal with in my life. We all have our little picadillos. I have never pulled a pectoral muscle, so this was new for me. And I just literally couldn't lift my arm. So I had all last week off, which was weird. I haven't taken a week off work. I mean, I got really sick last year and I was off a week, I think, but I was like in a fever dream. So I don't really remember it. So this was really weird because I wasn't allowed to pick up my phone. I wasn't allowed to like really do anything with this arm. And I couldn't even lift stuff with it. And so it's been a week. Logan, welcome in. Logan, I was just going to text you actually. I haven't even gotten to that stuff yet, Logan. I literally couldn't do anything last week. Like I couldn't do anything. I just sat on ice packs and Justin fed me way too many donuts, which, you know, is definitely a problem on the waistband this week, but we'll get back. KK, welcome in. Fair, good to see you. You're thrift. Good morning. So, anyways, guys, that's where I've been. So thank you all again one more time for all the well wishes and the amazing, awesome like get betters, and I really appreciate it. It lifted my spirits. Justin read them to me last week, and so it was just really nice to have people kind of say, hey, we're thinking about you. I hope you're doing okay, and I appreciate that. So I love that, you guys. Thank you. All of the family, welcome in, my friend. That's totally fine, says Logan. I missed what happened, but I assumed something happened, and I didn't want to bother you. Yeah. So it was. I think what happened was all right. So here's the thing. My body inside of me is one person and my body is another person. I'm like a Gemini, right? So the inside of me, like my brain and my like stamina and my energy says, "You're fine. Keep going. Don't stop. You can do 2 whatnot shows every day and do eBay and you can work 16 hours a day. You're fine. Go do it." So that's the inside of me. My body says, nope, illegal. And so what happens is I think I just overworked this with how I was doing the whatnot show. So I was doing a lot of like hanging up shirts constantly over and over and over again up high, which was dumb. I don't know why I was doing that. I just did it, not thinking about it. So Justin and I spent the weekend kind of rethinking how we're going to do our whatnot show setup, like physical setup, so that I am not lifting my arm constantly up. Anyways, it's irrelevant for you guys. None of you probably care about that, but I just have to ergonomically do things a little bit differently so that I'm not doing up high repetitive stuff, because I think that's what happened is I over hyperextended this. And the problem with having hyper flexible mobility disorder, which a lot of you probably have never even heard of before, is you don't know when it's going to happen. And a lot of times it happens because your muscles get overworked or fatigued. And it comes from doing the same like repetitive motion over and over again. At least for me, everybody's different, but at least for me, that's kind of what happens. And so I go see my specialist tomorrow and she'll get everything put back where it's supposed to go. But yeah, anyway, so that's what's been going on with me. So Rush, welcome in. Michelle, welcome in. Carmen, welcome in, you guys. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit brutal. I've dealt with it since I was a kid. When I was a kid, and I'm not going to do it because it would hurt, but I can like take this thumb and I can like extend it all the way back down here. When I was younger, I would pop my hips out of socket, like when I was hanging out with my friends to show them, because it was like cool and weird, which was like the worst possible thing I could have done, right? But I did it, and and so back in the day, it was a party trick. Now it's just like a terrible thing. But anyways, Jersey, welcome in. Lisa, I mean, raise your hands if you guys have something weird with your body that you have to try to explain to people and they don't understand. Yeah, they're maidens like me. It's like trying to explain to people something that doesn't make any sense to them because they've never had it happen. But basically, my body, my tendons are made of hot rubber bands, like on the melty sidewalk. So they're like boing. Britt says, yep. KTB. Okay, so what do we got going on this week? Let's go over that. So I have a whole bunch of shows planned this week. I have to go through them today and actually edit the days and times. I do know the one that we're having tonight is real, though. So the one that I'm having tonight is for sure happening tonight. And it is, so I don't know if you guys have been on this ride with me, but we got these crazy vintage t-shirts from this local guy. I ran a show of some of them, like the sports ones on Super Bowl Sunday. We did that on Super Bowl Sunday, which I think is what tore this. I did 2 shows in a day, which that did not work out. But anyways, so I've got that same dude stuff, but not sports. You guys, some of these vintage t-shirts we have tonight are like the craziest things I have ever seen. There's like old 1980s political ones. There's funny parody ones. There's pop culture ones. I think there's some music ones. Like there's a whole bunch of vintage t-shirts tonight. So if you guys want to pop by tonight, all you got to do is touch on my name there and then go to shows and you'll see the one for tonight. This is what it looks like. It says vintage bangers all night. And that's going to be at 7:15 Central Time tonight. So if you guys want to get a reminder for that, please do. If you don't think you can make it, feel free to still bookmark. The bookmarks help me out. So we got that going on this evening. And then the rest of the week, we're going to be having 90s toy shows. I think I have a plush show set up, vintage bread and butters, clothing. I think I might do a kids clothing one this week. I may wait till next week on that. Haven't decided yet. I got to go through the shows today, but I do know the one that's set up for tonight is absolutely good to go. Other than that, that's really all of the upcoming news I have. Like, we're just working, making money, taking a week off. That is one great thing about reselling. I will say, when you have a job where you can just take a week off and you're still having sales come through, that's like blessings and amazingness, because there's not very many jobs that I could call and just be like, hey, yo, my shoulder and my pecs are ripped and I can't come in. Like, how do you do that, right? So very happy that I don't have to deal with that. So Fairmean says, also understand the party trick. I have oddly small pinkies and they're very bendy. Always loves to gross the boys out. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Hopefully those are not painful. Olive says, my daughter has Ehlers-Danlos and she's constantly having to do that. People just stare at her like she's cray cray. Yep. So Olive, you totally know. They had tested me for ED many, many, many years ago. Justin and I were just talking about this. And I either got tested for it and they told me I need to look back at my medical records that I didn't have it, or we talked about testing me for it. Some of the things with ED doesn't fit the Ehlers-Danlos. Some of it doesn't fit in with me quite right, which I think is why we had decided that we didn't think that it was that. But that's got to be really tough for your daughter. And that's hard for her going forward, because it's one of those things that, like, as you get older, it can get more painful. And then things just don't heal like they used to. Like when I was younger and this would happen. So like I used to play softball and I'd go to get the ball or whatever, and my hand would bend backwards or my fingers would bend backwards, and it would be like, oh, and it does this like pop boing kind of thing. But after like a day, it would be fine. Well, you get older and you get into being an adult, and that just doesn't happen as much. And I wasn't as good about taking, like, I remember when I was younger, they told me like, take your fish oil, take your glucosamine with chondroitin, take all that. And of course you're younger and you don't think you're ever you think you're invincible. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you're younger, you think you're invincible. And so I just didn't do any of those things. And that was a mistake. I should have been better about that. So Sophia, hi, Vivi. Brittany said we had our best weekend ever so far this weekend. Yes. And we'll talk about the magic date. Stop in when I show sometimes and I'll show you. Okay, fair. I will. I'm following you right now. I will pop in. You can show me your little pinky. I love stuff like that. April, welcome in. Twice on the blog, Jane Morgan. Forecast finds. What's up, my love? It's crazy how many parts of the bodies it messes with. Yeah. It's pretty much everything. Like, it's pretty much everything. Like, I have to see a specialist for it. So, good morning, Trish. Good morning, you guys. Yeah, so we are now at a magic date. This is very exciting, you guys. I'll talk about this. I'm going to get stuff steaming here to get some work done while we're talking. But there is this magic date. How many of you guys had kind of slower sales like in January? Like January and beginning of February, it's coming off that Christmas high where you have a lot of sales in the fourth quarter. How many of you guys had a little bit slower sales in the in the January, February time, end of January, early February? Yeah. So this goes for all retail. So it doesn't matter the business you're in. So I used to be a hairdresser. I was a stylist. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen my scissors. So I used to be a hairdresser once upon a time. And I did that. I owned a salon for like 14 years. And so we sold a lot of retail products there. We also, at one point, the salon I had in Olympia, we had clothing and stuff as well. And one of the things that always happens, and this happens no matter what, every single year, it goes without fail. It doesn't matter what's happening with the economy or the era or the decade that we're in. People buy stuff for Christmas, right? And so what happens is they overspend, they put stuff on credit cards, they use their bill money or whatever. And especially those last minute gifts. Who in here will admit to being like a last minute gift buyer? Like, I'll buy things ahead of time, but like if it gets close to Christmas and I'm like at the store or whatever and I'm panicking, and I'll think to myself like, oh my God, I've got to get some crazy sick little vintage jackets here. I'm like, I've got to get, some last minute stocking stuffers. And all of a sudden I've spent, $86 at Target on like stuff by the aisle or whatever. So, those little purchases they get us for. So what happens is people put that on their credit cards or they spend their bill money. So if you think about the cycle of billing, if they purchase it on the 20th of December, they're not going to see that on their credit card statement until like either the 15th or the 30th of January. So what happens is you'll have okay sales. Like that first week of January will still be like okay, not like great, but it'll still be okay. And then like the 7th or 8th of January hits and it turns into like crickets, right? And you're like, oh, you're kind of starting to sweat it. Well, what has happened is people have gotten their credit card statements and they've also overspent their bill money. And so they're trying to play catch up. So they play catch up with the January 30th paycheck and usually the January 15th. So those are going to be your two kind of catch ups. People have also bought stuff, right? So they're bored of buying things. They have already been shopping. They don't have the shopping bug. Well, once the 14th of February comes along and they get that 14th of February paycheck, all of a sudden things change because they haven't been shopping since Christmas. They've got Valentine's, there's love in the air, they're feeling and their feels, and all of a sudden they start shopping again. And so I think we talked about this on a couple of our shows back in like the late January, December and January shows. I think we talked a little bit about this, how this would happen. And I said, just hold on. I promise you, I swear that if you can make it to the magic date, you'll start getting sales again. And that magic date just so happens to be February 16th. By the time we hit February 16th, the people's paychecks have already hit. And so if they got paid on the 14th, it was direct deposit. And of course, this can be temperate on if the 14th falls on a Thursday and they didn't get the money until Tuesday, then the weekend can be a little bit slow, but it's usually like February 16th. So you guys should start seeing your sales picking up right now. It's like what Brittany said. Britt, I think that was you that said that. Like I've just had one of my best weekends or weeks so far. And that's the same thing for us. So we got a ton of sales this weekend. Justin shipped yesterday. I think he shipped like, I don't know, maybe 20-ish items. Or I'm sorry, Saturday he shipped like 20-ish items. And then today, let's take a look. I don't even know. I haven't looked. I don't do our shipping anymore, so I don't usually pay attention to this. But we sold we just sold a shirt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 10 on eBay. And then we've got 2 on Depop, so that's 12. And then we've got 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's including Poshmark. And then any in Macari, let's take a look. So we got about 16 sales. So we got about 16 sales on Sunday, between Saturday night and Sunday. And that's great. That's definitely more than we were getting. And that's even without listing for a week because of my arm. So you guys should start seeing that too. Morning, Jarhead. I am. It's doing better. I'm like taped up. It's definitely trepidatious, but we're being gentle, resting it when we can, and using lots of icy hot. Roadside Locker, welcome in. Zebra, good to see you. Okay, let me catch in here. I just started in January, so I have no idea. No worries, no worries. Same thing for Whatnot too. So if you guys have been frustrated over here, and you're like, man, my sales have been slow. I'm just not getting the people in. The people will come, stay consistent, and just know that we're starting back into the purchasing time of the year again. And this will roll into like tax time. We'll be super busy through there. Then we'll have the summer slow down a little bit, and it's the same thing every year. Like, what I would suggest doing, especially if you're new, just so you don't have these panic moments, um right, keep track. So keep track of, like, just get yourself like a little booklet or a little notepad and just be like, January or December sold this many things, January sold this many things, was super slow first week of January, started to pick up, like whatever it is that's going on with your business. That way when this time of the year rolls around next year, you won't be so freaked out. It was the same thing when I did hair. So retail sales would be incredibly slow between like January 7th to February 16th. I'd also have like people would tip me less. People wouldn't get that extra color or that extra brow wax or like just those little extra things. And then sure enough, February 16th would hit and things would start picking up again, and the salon would be super busy and it'd be bustling again. So it took me a few years of doing that and selling retail to realize that that's the pattern. So I of course don't freak out with doing this business because it's not going to be any different. All retail is always going to be the same. Has anyone here ever done retail? Anything else? Megan, good to see you. Indy, hello, good morning. Ochi, good morning. Brittany says, and that goes for a lot of businesses, not just resale. Both of our businesses were slow. Britt, what else do you guys do? Pickle Pack, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Are you going to the estate this week? No, so this is a bye week. So last week, we didn't have one set up, which was good because I was injured. I wouldn't have been able to do it. And the owners of the estate asked for a couple weeks so that they could dig in through boxes because we hit a bunch of boxes that were like family photos, like memorabilia stuff, and she wanted time to go through all of that. So we don't have the estate this week, but we will have it. We should have it next week. Next week we should have the estate again. So nice little old Karen Scott. I don't know when this one is from. I think it says made in Hong Kong, so I think this is older. I think this is an older Karen Scott tag, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if we've got any Karen Scott aficionados in here, but I think this is an older one. Yeah, so we'll be back at the estate next week for sure. And then I've got tons of consignment shows. I mean, he's got so many things going on. Jarhead says, my sales here have sucked. Wait, because I ain't done shows lately. Yeah, that definitely makes a sense. Makes a difference, Jarhead. Logan says, yes, I don't miss retail. I hear ya. Blazing Money, good morning, my love. I hope you're doing great. We make car accessories, license plate frames, coasters, and wristlets. Brittany, I love that. I love finding out what else you guys do besides this. What else do you guys do? Who does what in here? Like who? Because I know we've got a few full-time resellers, but I know some of y'all do other businesses as well. So Mandy, welcome in. Shell, good to see you. Harmony, April. All this is we sell urns. Oh my god, that's so random and wild. What a wild business to be in. Oh my goodness, Olive. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we got the nicest one for my mom. Like, she lives in my dining room. She has her own shelf and all of her little memorabilia things. I change it out. Okay, this might be creepy for some people, but I'm Charity and I'm not ashamed of who I am. So I have like my mom's little shelf and I like change it out for decorations and I put little things up there. When I come across things at garage sales and I find something that reminds me of her, I'll pick it up and just like put it up with her in her little area, and I've got her picture and some of the little things that she got me over the years I keep up there. So I don't know if that's weird for anybody else, but I like it. It makes me feel close to my mom. So Molly, welcome in. Fair Maiden says, I am an admin for a church and I run a pickup and delivery laundry service out of my house. I love that. That was one of the very first things I ever did. So I was a super young mom and I worked at a children's secondhand consignment store. And then I also used to iron shirts. So I'd have business career guys drop their shirts off at my little basement apartment that we had, and I'd iron the shirts and then they'd come and pick them up. And so I used to do that. Yeah. Before that, we used to letter semis, like put the names of like businesses on the side, kind of like wraps. Is that what it was? That what you were talking about? Um, yeah, she's still gonna be fabulous. Exactly. My mom's Erin sits on her recliner with Snoopy and a blanket. I love that, Mel. It's like some people are good with just like letting it go, and that's cool. And that there's, I think there is no wrong way to grieve about stuff, right? We all do it in our own little ways. And for me, it's just like I feel close to my mom. I also have my little heart dog Shorty. I had him for 17 years, and he looked a lot like Jack Jack, but he was black and his hair was a little bit more wiry. But he sits up there with my mom too because that was Grammy's boy. Like they were like two peas in a pod, that guy. And so he sits up there with her as well, and I feel like it kind of, I don't know, it brings me peace. So Fair Maidens is so cool, trying to make ends meet so I can get out of my horrible marriage. Girl, I used to be in one of those too. There is light on the other of the tunnel. I promise. There is light on the other side. I had a bonfire with my original marriage. I had a bonfire and burned my marriage license. It was a great day. Been there, done that. I had to kiss some frogs to find the prince. Yep, that's amazing, Britt. I think that's so cool. I always wonder who does that kind of stuff, like the wraps on the cars. Like I was thinking, actually, Brittany, I was thinking about it when I was watching Mr. Beast's whatnot, and they had like the wrap on that car that they had turned into a whatnot car, and I was like, oh my god, who does those? Like somebody does those, right? I mean, that's got to be like such hard, tedious work, I would imagine. Jarhead says, I do sublimation coffee mugs, tumblers, etc. I'll embroidery as soon as I learn my machine and have process dialed in. I also do t-shirts and vinyl decals. You guys, there's someone to reach out to if you're looking to get anything done and made. Reach out to Jarhead. This is a good friend of ours. He is an awesome dude. I can't recommend him enough. Like super cool guy, definitely a trusted seller. So yeah, you guys give Jarhead a follow and maybe, I mean, let's all buy from each other versus the big box stores. That's how I look at it. CDC, welcome in. Yeah, were you there for the Mr. Beast? I know. Oh man. Okay, question. Out of the Mr. Beast stuff, what did you guys want the most? What did you guys see that you're like, oh man, I want that so bad? Like for me, okay, well, obviously the money would have been like the best thing. I think I would have loved that. What else? I'd say the shoes because I think they'd be one of the easier things to sell, like all of the Jordans. That would have been nice because those are easier to sell. Some of that stuff, the winnings, I imagine that's got to be kind of difficult for some of those things to like sell, only because like they're kind of like weird specialty things that like it would be weird to try to sell. Like okay, for instance, like the football card, right? That would have been hard because I don't know anything about like sports cards. I don't know anyone that buys sports cards. I don't know nothing about sports cards. So I think that would have been more difficult than some of the other stuff. Like that's what I think, anyways. Yeah, the gold bar, sir. What's up? That's what I wanted to. I wanted that freaking gold bar, yo. I was like, dude, I'll take it. I'll take it. Well, and how many of you guys were having a hard time getting the entries in too? Like we kept clicking on it and it would be like error, error, too many people have entered, error, error, and we're like, ah. So we'd be like freaking out trying to like get in there. Justin was on his account, I'm on my account. Like, yeah, sent that card to Golden to auction off. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what you'd have to do, right? Like that's what I would do. Like if I had won one of the weird like things that I didn't really know what they were, like I would have like the Lego set, right? Like, let's get that in the hands of someone that sells Legos. They're going to get a better price for me and I'll give them a commission. I mean, that's probably what I would have done too. So, Jenny, what's going on, my friend? Uh, yeah, yeah, the gold bar is definitely what I would have wanted. Southern Pick glitter. I would have taken the Tesla. Dude, you gotta pay taxes on that stuff. That's the only thing I was thinking about. Like, of course, like the money cruncher in me is like, dude, I wonder what the taxes are on that. Cause like I would assume you would have to pay something on some of that, right? Because it's a giveaway. And technically, does that depend on your state? Or is that like a federal, like a countrywide law? I'm not smart about that kind of stuff. I can feel out mohair and cashmere for you pretty easy. I can tell you how to do a diagonal haircut. And I can tell you what vitamins to buy. But outside of that, I'm not really smart about like laws and tax stuff. So I don't know if that's like a thing or if that's not a thing. I'm not really sure. Got a little Pure Jill sweatshirt here. A lot of this stuff is stuff that I got like in a huge lot. So it's not necessarily stuff that I normally sell, but I was able to get it for a good deal. So like Lane Bryant, I don't do a lot of Lane Bryant, but I'll put this stuff up and, take whatever on it because my investment was so small. Thrift House is Lamborghini, baby. Yeah, exactly. Anything would have been fun to get. Yeah, I mean, maybe not the candy. Although, because it was on Whatnot and that was that many people, I'd imagine you could list that and probably sell that pretty quickly. Like with the candy and stuff like that, because all you'd have to do is put up one listing and change the quantity to like 200 or whatever you got. And then you'd be able to advertise that this was the ones from Mr. Beast. Like you could use like a screenshot of you winning it, like as the one of the pictures. So I think that actually would have been okay. Like I would have been okay with that because that would have been trickling money. I love those kind of things. Like I love when I get something and there's a whole bunch of them. You get like a cleaning item or something that people want, and you go to a garage sale and there's like 40 of them, and you could just list them as quantity 40, and then that money just rolls in. It's like little ticker tape money constantly, which I think would be good. So looking at what is, yeah, or is it considered a gift? So I don't know about law stuff like that. I'm not really sure. Sarah Sage, Sarah, I want you to know I saw your review that you left me. And it was so sweet. Thank you so much. You guys all have left me amazing reviews on here, and I really appreciate it. Like, I hope that we always hope that you guys love everything you get. And a lot of the times we're doing consignment, so we're running stuff blind or we're running stuff from the storage unit. So we're just running it blind. So I'm always hoping everything's okay. And I just love, yeah, your guys' reviews are super thoughtful. So I really appreciate that. Joanne, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. We're just hanging up some stuff here. This is some stuff I got. So this is the last of my winter stuff. Weirdly enough, I had way more winter stuff than I thought I had. And so I've been trying to get through all of it and kind of get everything up that I would consider like winter stuff, meaning like sweaters, sweatshirts, hoodies, coats, jackets, little Columbia, and this kind of stuff too. These little Columbias, I don't pay a ton for this stuff anymore. But if it's $1, I mean, y'all know me. I love storage units. I love garage sales. If it's $1, I'll pretty much pick it up because why would you not pick it up if it's $1? Who has shows coming up too? Do you guys have any shows coming up? I mean, Mr. Beast could pay and write off the taxes. I know that's true. I don't think they did that, but I mean, I don't think that was, look at this old Hanes tag, y'all. I don't think that was the most organized situation. I mean, they didn't even know how to run the app. You could tell that Mr. Beast had never been on Whatnot before. He hasn't spent any time on Whatnot because he wasn't even sure how anything went. Gabriel, peace, love, and kindness to you too, my friend. So Fantastic Flips got a book show on Wednesday. So if you guys are into books, let's give Fantastic Flips a follow and a bookmark, because that's the thing too. When you guys bookmark other shows on Whatnot, it helps Whatnot to see you as an active user versus like a bystander, and that will always help your account through the algorithms. And so it's always good to bookmark everybody's shows, even if you're not sure that you can make it. So, and then we've got Jenny Lou Who, that's a cute name, says Trivia Tuesdays, 7:30. Jenny, what is Trivia Tuesdays? What is Trivia Tuesdays? And how do we be a part of this? What do you just do? Like, do you actually just do trivia, or do you sell anything, or Patty, welcome in. Patty, good to see you. Britt says he was so confused to why the Lego set was there and said it was worth probably $100. I know, I was dead. But y'all, that was kind of a cool perspective to see that, because that was like someone that's reselling on this app that doesn't know anything about reselling. He doesn't know anything about what things cost. He's just giving away money. He's living his best life and he's not a reseller. So it was really cool to see that perspective, though, of seeing someone that would have no idea, because I saw it and I was like, that's a vintage Lego set, and I think it's Star Wars. I was like, holy shite, right? So I'm all excited about it. And when he said $100, I was like, Justin, I just like viscerally laughed out loud. And I thought it was probably worth like 8 or 9 grand. It was worth more than I thought. But still, it was just kind of a cool perspective to see that. Did anybody else get a kick out of that? I just thought it was cool to see somebody that didn't do reselling know what something was worth. Yeah, what was that boy band, y'all? What was the boy band? I don't know. So, side note too, for those of you that are resellers, if you guys find shirts like this that are like vintage and they're these blank shirts, pick them up. I've been selling these like crazy, especially over on like the Depoppers, because people want to be able to either wear a blank sweatshirt, which by the way, the ones you can get now that are brand new are like, they're just garbage. They don't wash well. They pill in one washing because of all the polyplastics in it. And so these blank ones, people either want to use them or they want to be able to use them to like upcycle and create things. And you're seeing that more and more. Have you guys, who in here has seen like on TikTok or IG or anything, have you guys noticed the like watching videos of people like upcycling old hoodies and stuff like that? It's because, and especially like this younger generation, let's say that you're 22 years old, right? You know, between 20 or 22 years old, right in there. And you didn't ever get to really live through an era where there was like really good quality clothing. Like maybe you got it a little bit when you were young, but by the time you started like dressing and paying for your own clothes and stuff, everything's been polyplastics and really has really started going downhill since like 2017, 2018. Post COVID, everything's garbage now, right? And so they have never gotten a chance to really have quality clothing. So when they get something like this and they can feel it and they're like, whoa, this is crazy. This feels so different. To them, it's like, oh my God, this is new. And so this is how you want to advertise this. You want to advertise it as vintage, but what these are called are blanks. And so up in your title, you want to make sure you did, like, how I would title this is probably vintage red blank, and I do it all in capital letters, BLANC. So vintage blank Hanes made in USA baggy oversized XL pullover crew neck red. That's how I would advertise this. And then in my keywords, of course, for my master keywords list, I'm doing all like the streetwears, I'm doing like the preppies, but I'm also doing like frat, university, all the stuff from our master keywords list. And then I'm going to put in my keywords, again, I'm going to put blank, and then I'm also going to put blanks with an S. So you want, because people will type in like blank sweatshirt or crew neck with blank look or blanks. Like, you just never know exactly what someone's going to type. And so I figure if I do blank and blanks, and I think that's probably why I've been selling so many of these. They don't sell for crazy money. They usually wind up selling for, I think most of mine have gone, depending on if there's a stain or not, between like 17 and 25 bucks. I think 27 is the most I got because it was like a super oversized one. But that's still great money. I mean, I think our average sale price, let's take a look here. Those of you that have Nifty, this is a great little place you can look in your Nifty. And I don't know if you guys know about this, but if you go into Nifty, which is like our cross listing software that we always tell people that they should get, and you go into analytics, you are able to see, if you scroll here over where it says insights, you're able to see what your average sale price is. So right now in our app, it says that our average sale price is $29.56. And it usually hovers between $27 and $30 is kind of our average. Meaning that our average order profit is between 24 to 25 bucks. So that's great because most of the stuff I'm getting at garage sales for $1, or I'm buying it on Whatnot for a couple bucks from somebody and then reselling it. And then if I look to here, you can see how that sale ticker is starting to go up. We've done 155 sales versus 143, which is the previous. So which tells me that already February is now, we've kind of kicked into that like busier time. So that's a really great way for you to really look at your insights and kind of see what you're selling, what your average sale price is. There's a lot of really good insights in here. They also can tell you like what your top selling brands are. So like right now, what is selling the best for me is Nike, Ralph Lauren, Eddie Bauer. It's going to be vintage Eddie Bauer. Democracy, throw that one out. That's a weird one. I just happened to sell like 4 pairs of Democracy pants. Don't look at it like, oh, I got to start picking up Democracy. It just so happened, I think the same person bought 2 pairs and I sold 2 other things. And then Carhartt, of course, usually makes the list. And what's really crazy too, is that at the bottom, it'll tell you where you're selling the most money. And eBay always beats out everyone for my average sale price. But right now, the leader is Depop, which is really super interesting, with an average sale price of $32. So that's kind of cool to see that, like Depop giving eBay a run for their money. So I thought it would have been a bit more organized. Yeah, I thought so too, Britt. And he gave them $10K to get their other band member on the computer, Afisa. That was funny. Yeah, I didn't get the boy band thing. I'm just chalking it up to like, I feel old. Like, I'm just an old person now, I think, because I don't get it. What's that, baby? No, that's a real band.
I know, but it's funny to Mr. Beast.
It's funny to Mr. Beast. You could tell that he thought it was funny. Let's put this on here, and then we don't have to hold it in our hands and hurt our shoulders. Piece of scrap, welcome in. Dizzy. Oi, oi, oi. Good morning, Right Way. Sierra says, I have to start paying more attention to clothing at my thrift shop. I feel like I have to be in a certain mood to go through those racks. That's so funny because I'm the opposite. I'll go through the clothing all day. I don't want to have to go through the hard goods. I find it tedious. Curvy Chick, welcome in. Meg! What are you doing, my love? I'm so happy to see you. Gitano, welcome in. Depop's been really big for us recently, says Britt. Yeah. You know, then here's the weird thing about Depop. So Depop for us was huge. We were selling like 10 to 15 things a day on Depop for a very long time. And then last year, it got really slow. And I didn't change anything on our Depop. It just was like weird and just did that. See, I've got these old winter coats that I found in a box. I got to get these listed. But there wasn't really anything different. It just was like, it just slowed down for us. And I think what happened with Depop was, in my opinion, I love this little jacket. If this was a size larger, I'd probably keep it. I think what happened with Depop is maybe because Whatnot started getting so big. This is the only thing I could think of. Whatnot started really taking off last year and started really getting big. And you had a lot of sellers, like a lot of t-shirt bros and stuff on there. And you still do. But like, people were kind of moving over and really checking it out. And people weren't buying it static as much. And I think a big part of that is Depop has no customer service at all. Like, it doesn't exist. It is it's a non-existing situation. Ooh, nice little Lauren Jeans Co. So it's a non-existent situation. I think that so many people were getting burned on Depop because people would order stuff and they'd get like rocks in the mail. They would order, a pair of Nikes in a size 6, and they'd get like an old hoodie, some diapers, and a paper sack in a box. And over on Depop, to be able to dispute those things as a customer and stuff is like kind of non-existent. There's just no customer service. And if people, it took quite a bit, which is weird because some people just get kicked off the app like that, but it took quite a bit for other people to get kicked off. There's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just Depop is a poorly coded app. It just is. And so I think what happened was just there's a lot of people that got burned, and so they kind of moved away from it. And then it started getting better. Like I think like there's less people were getting have been getting burned, and so I think people have started buying over there again. Is my take. Now I could be wrong, but Depop has been around for a lot longer than people realize. Like if you play the original Tony Hawk 4 game, Depop is actually advertised in one of the maps. And the original Tony Hawk 4 came out in, I'll have to look that up. Let's take a look here. I'm just curious. Let's find out. When did Tony Hawk 4 Pro Skater originally come out? So that was in, oh, they didn't do 4. Let's take a look here. So that came out in 2002. So Depop has been around for a long. Is that right? Has it really been around that long? No, it can't be. When did Depop start? That can't be right. Yeah, that can't be right. 2011. Okay, yeah. Sorry, my facts were incorrect. So Depop's been around since 2011. So it's been around a lot longer than people realize. And I think it was such an underground thing for so long. And then it spiked in popularity, especially due to like vintage clothing. And then people started getting burned. And so the app started dropping off. And then Whatnot came and people were just shopping on Whatnot. And it seems like people are kind of going back to that static selling again. I'm not saying Whatnot's not huge. Whatnot is growing every day. I'm just saying that there's other people that are willing to buy static again. So I'm just saying. I used to play Tony Hawk. Yeah, we were so disappointed. I'm a gamer girl, and we were so disappointed when we got the remake of 3 and 4, and we went to play it, and there was like 90% of the story was gone, and it was like, oh, it's really disappointing. So we had our first item to not show up last week. I had to be on a vintage leather jacket for almost $150. Filed my first claim with USPS. Yeah, I always get nervous about selling those big ticket items over on Depop. So we do all of our shipping for Depop outside of Depop. So we use Pirate Ship, for our Depop shipping so that I can buy insurance on that stuff, just in case. And I know not everyone has the ability to do that, but yeah, exactly. Autumn, good to see you. Well, it is French. Yeah, I believe it started. I think you're right about that. I think you're right. Yeah, Italy. And then their headquarters were in London, which is why the Depop is advertised on, if you look at Tony Hawk 4, the London map, where you have to like go up and grind the huge clock thing in the center and do that horrible challenge where you got to go up onto the lips of all the stuff. And anyways, I digress. It's the one with the buses where you have to like jump from bus to bus. It's advertised there, and that is a London level. So it just didn't get big over here till recently. Yeah, I had a crazy return scam on Depop. It took so long to get it resolved. Yeah. And that's the problem. Oh, this is a nice little banger. Look at this little JanSport, little Stanford. Bam. Yeah, I have not had any issues with Depop, and I have bought quite a few things over there. However, I am really particular about who I purchase from over there. I like when I buy stuff on eBay, like I kind of look at the reviews, but not really that much. Like, but over on Depop, I am like really careful on the poppers to make sure that I'm buying from someone with like a crazy review, because that does happen for sure. It was on eBay. What were you saying on eBay? I used to play Tony Hawk 4 on my Game Boy. Renee, welcome in. So we're just doing a little bit of steam in here, and I'm not too crazy about it, but I do try to get out like especially for that front opening picture. I try to kind of get out like the major creases. I don't have any men's dress shirts this morning to do. So that's nice. I just can't believe I'm still not through my winter stuff. I just had so many more winter boxes than I realized. So, okay, let's get this turned off here. I'm gonna get some pictures going. So I'm just gonna be working here, you guys, and kind of paying attention to you, hanging out, and then also getting some work done, getting some photographs done, and living the dream. I gotta get stuff up on. So my process is I do photos first, and then after I do photos, I upload them into Nifty. And then after I upload them into Nifty, I do all of my listings there. I have AI, which by the way, I don't know if you guys saw. Riz! My Depop anniversary was 2015. Oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah, I had never even heard of it until I started reselling. So I was definitely behind the times. That Riz is always up. Riz is always hip though. Riz is always hip. Let's do this too. We haven't done this today at all. If you guys are over here on Whatnot and you guys want to get more followers and bookmarks, go ahead and leave a heart down in the chat. And then anyone you see with a heart, just pinky swear that if they follow you, that you'll follow them back. And if you're already following them, go ahead and go in and just bookmark their shows. And it's really easy to do that. So if you click on someone's name, for instance, if I click on Fantastic Flips is the first one to answer. So if I go over to Fantastic Flips and I touch on their name, and then I just click over to view profile, and you can stay in this show and still do this. If I go over to shows, I can see that they've got one on 218. This is the book one, which I actually already have bookmarked. But there's a few other ones, and I can just go through and just I'm giving bookmarks right now on all of their shows. And then that way, Whatnot will help to spit out their show a little bit more, because otherwise, obviously, it favors the bigger sellers. And so if you guys can do that for each other, Sarah and Olive and Fair Maiden, Thrift Trough, good morning, Inspired. So if you guys can do that for each other, that's just going to help y'all to get your shows pushed out a little bit more, because it is tough. It's hard out here full of PM when you're trying to send the clothes for the rent. So it's more difficult when you're a smaller seller to get stuff pushed out. The other thing you guys can do, if you guys notice this little thing that I've got down here, it says like bookmark this to be notified for every show. If you can get people to click on that bell and then click on it so that they get notified when you go live, you can pin this, and then that way when you go live, people will get notified. Otherwise, even if your show's bookmarked, the person's not going to always get a notification. Inspired says, I messaged you, did you see it, or is it stuck in your message request? Highly possible. So I have been out of commission this whole last week. I literally didn't even pick up my phone because I pulled my pectoral muscle, and now I'm living with my whole body is like taped up with KT tape. So if you did, it might be in there. It might just be sitting. I am not the greatest with my messages. They stack up and get kind of bananas. No, Inspired, I do. Is that Michelle? Is that you? Oh my God, it is Michelle. What are you doing, you nut pod? Good to see you, my love. No, if you message me, where did you message me at? Facebook or? Yeah, tell me where you messaged me, Michelle, and I'll look for it. Because I don't have anything in my Facebook. I don't even know how to find. How do you find your different chats on here? Oh God, I'm so bad. I'm like, we're both tuning like crazy and never bumping each other. I know that is true. Are you doing whatnots, Michelle? Are you actually doing shows? Let me see. I didn't even realize you were doing. Oh, you are doing shows. How have we not? I'm gonna bookmark you. How did I not know you were doing this over here? I literally had no idea. Sorry, I had to get out for a second. I know that's really weird that I haven't seen you. That's really strange. All right. So yeah, so what I was saying is if you guys here, let me pin something else for a second and then I'm going to pin this again. So if you can make yourself, all you do is make a listing. So see how it says like quantity 1000 on that? All you do is make a listing with like an obscene price that no one's going to ever pay. Like we have 186 bookmarks on this. So when I pin this, it automatically notifies 186 people that we're live. So I love you too, Michelle, man. I'm happy to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah. Yeah, this is my real life friend in the real lifeies. Oh geez, eventually yours. I see you. Okay, the other thing is I think Justin said that he just put some of these up. Yes. Okay. So we've got 6 available for our sponsor giveaway. How this works is y'all sponsor a giveaway. Oh, thrift shop. There's one. Yeah, 5 left. You sponsor a giveaway and then you get up on our LED board or you get up on the TV or something and you get to be advertised for a whole week. And then what we focus on doing is getting you followers, getting you bookmarks. We hold your name up during the show multiple times where your gift card is pulled. Logan, we really focus on getting you guys followers. It helps us because it helps us to be able to have giveaways. And then it helps y'all to be able to advertise. So it's an inexpensive way to advertise. In my opinion, it's much better than like promoting. So if you've been considering promoting your shows, do this instead. I do this on other sellers' shows as well, so that I can have my stuff advertised as well. So if you guys want to do that, you're welcome to pick those up too. So yeah, there's Trout and Logan. Spazzy, welcome in. Fear Maiden says, I got to run, but you're definitely seeing me again. Oh, I'm so happy to have met you, my friend. I love meeting new people. Deb. Oh geez, Louise, you call us in. Yes, I do. Come to the masses. Come be a part. Dexter Bell. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, so we're gonna get some photos done here. I'm just taking pictures. So if you guys have questions, you just want to hang out, you like having me in the background because it's nice to keep you occupied, that's great. So I've also changed things up a little bit how I do photographs now. So this is a Depop trick, but it works pretty well for pretty much anywhere. And I'll show you what that is here in just a second. I might have to do it with a different shirt because this one isn't going to really work for that. But this is like a nice little long sweater that I picked up somewhere. Who knows where I got it because I don't even remember where I get anything. So my brain is the brain of a squirrel that doesn't remember anything, that loses items multiple times every single day. So I've been doing this for a while with my photos, and it has actually been wonderful. So what I do is I kind of go back here. Oh, my lens is very dirty. Let's just clean those off. Make sure, a little tip too, guys. Make sure you clean your lenses off. Just get yourself a little microfiber. People don't think about this, but it's why you see a lot of people's pictures and they look hazy. I don't know if you guys ever notice that. You look on Facebook Marketplace or you look somewhere and the pictures look hazy, and it's because people's fingerprints get on there. So Susan, good to see you. So what I do is, I need my pop socket too. Justin?
What?
Justin!
What?
I need my pop socket.
No.
Yes!
No.
Immediate gratification requested and demanded. I think it's probably on my bedside table. So I have been taking the photo from kind of far away so I can get like good natural lighting on it. And then I've been kind of cropping it to be small. Now with this one, I think I'm going to do full length. Just because it looks like, I think you'll really notice it and pop. It'll pop. So getting that, when you're doing your photos too, make sure that like you're not cutting off. I see this a lot. So I have people that ask me to like audit their eBays and kind of look through their stuff and see why they're not selling. And a lot of the times you guys are cutting things off. So you're either cutting off the sleeves or you're cutting off the top. Now, there is a time and place for that. And that is if you're doing like, especially if you're doing like a men's dress shirt or you're doing something with graphics, if you get a photo and then you're cropping it to really show like a specific part of it. And let's say I was to crop this sweater and I'm like cutting off the arms, like that's fine. That's okay, right? If you're doing that, it's when you take a picture, and I'll show you. Thank you, baby. It's when you take a picture and it's like this. Let me see if I can do it. So go through your photos today. And if you see this, let me show you here. So like this photo here. So if you're going through your photos and it's like not intentionally cut off and you've accidentally cut off part of the picture of the item, it just deters people's minds to not purchase it. So go through your pictures, and if you see that, the other thing I've seen on people's stuff is this. Let me see if I can do it. Where it's like this. So like part of the sleeve is cut off. Right? You don't want to do that. It just looks really super lazy. Now, if you're trying to do measurements and this is like a few photos in, that's fine. But you want that first photo to be crisp and clear, and you want to be able to see all the edges of it. One funky mamacita. What's going on? Sega, welcome in. It also some phones. My husband has an S22 and his camera is terrible compared to my S21. It's always fuzzy. Yeah, I mean, it can definitely depend on the phone too, for sure. Susan, oh, I think I already said hi to you, but Susan, you know what? I'm gonna say hi to you again. Hi, Susan. Ayla, welcome in. Okay, so next thing we do is, oh my God, you guys can tell I've literally haven't worked in a week because I don't even know where my ruler is. Oh, there it is. Everything is moved around. Oh, I am definitely moving slow with this shoulder today, folks. We are definitely moving slow. Okay. When it comes to measurements, I do the following. So I do shoulder, arm, chest, or bust, depending on if you're a male or a woman. And then I do length. Now, for something like this, where the length isn't going to be long enough, I've got my little ruler here, or my little measuring tape, and I just bring it out, swing it down. It always flops to the side, but that's okay because I just go sideways like that and take a picture. And those are the measurements I do for all shirts. And then, of course, you want to get the care tag. And then we want to get the back. The other question I have gotten asked before is, what about the fact that you only get so many measurements on Depop? So on Depop, you only get 8 photos, right? And so you have to be kind of selective. So I do the front and back, non-negotiables. I do the chest and the length, non-negotiable. So those 4 you have to get. 5 would be the tag, pretty darn important. There's times I've had to leave it out though, because sometimes you'll have flaws. And so that takes up those other photos. Now, let me show you guys a little trick here. When you go to take your photos, let me get this lint rolled here. When you go to take your photos, one of the other things that can happen is your item is so big and far away that when you go to take a picture of it, you have to back up so far that it winds up being small. And I'll show you what I mean by that, and then I'm going to show you a trick to avoid that. So if I take a picture of this and I put the arms out, between the arms of this and the length, I have to go all the way back here. So, right, I got to come all the way back here for that. Now, if I take these arms, and this is a Depop trick, and I do this a lot for the front of the shirt too, is you take the arm here on the side and you just tuck it under so that the main part of the back shows, and then you take this portion and you tuck it under. So you let the sleeve show just a little bit. Then when I go to take the picture, I'll show you the difference. Okay, so here's the first one, right? So if I go to lay that out, this sweater is really far away. So when people are scrolling on it, it's so far that it just doesn't like give it that like pow effect. However, if I put those shirts under, look at how much bigger that is in the screen. So let me show you one more time. So I lay the whole thing out. It's really small. I tuck those under and it's much bigger in the screen. And that's just going to give people way more. It seems bigger, it seems bolder, it fills up more of the screen, and it draws the eye in. So there's that. And then I started this new SKU system that I absolutely am obsessed about, which is these little tabs we made. I really should make a video on this too. These little tabs that we made, and we now hang them up in the garage. And it's like, boom. I don't have to put it in a bag. I don't have to do anything. I just do that, and then I take a picture. And this is just for my own reference when I go to list. I take a picture of it up close so that when I go to put it in Nifty, I could put my SKU number in. It is very Depop. Exactly, Riz. Well, and the crazy thing is, like I was saying, we have been selling, like Depop is, it's still never going to be eBay for me, I don't think, but it's given it a run for its money. And my average sale price over on Depop has been higher than eBay's, which is interesting. Mary, welcome in. See, welcome in. All right, next thing we've got here is a super old boy. This is a crazy old flight jacket. Super, super old. I just sold one similar to this for like $85 or $90, I think. This one's crazy. It's got this really cool patch on the side of it. Inspector General of the Wild Ass Hunters Association. So we got that there. So this is a little bomber jacket. Now, one of the keywords I always use in this, anything that has that kind of bomber jacket feel to it, even though this is technically not totally a bomber jacket, it's still in the neighborhood, is I always do Top Gun. So down in my description, so if you go to, and you guys are welcome to look on my eBay if you want to see what I'm talking about, but let me just take one of my items that just sold. So this is a little drug rug that just sold. I just sold this little guy here. These are called drug rugs. And I just sold this. And if you look in my description at the very bottom, I have all these little keywords that I put in here. And that helps me to sell my item faster, because then the SEO and AI is able to find people that are looking for items that look like this. It's able to match it. And then that's what they get advertised on Google, Facebook, etc. Is those items. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is our master keywords list. I know some of you guys probably have this. This is our master keywords list. I think we are up to like 37 or 38 aesthetics, I believe. And I don't even know, probably 600, over 600 words now. And you're able to just copy and paste them into your listings. Anyways, so down here though, for my bomber jackets, I always do down in here, I always do Top Gun. And that just kind of triggers the system. You're not saying it's Top Gun, but because you have it underneath at the very, very bottom, you know, I have this kind of stuff on thousands and thousands of listings, and I've never had an issue with anybody complaining. Casey, welcome in. Casey's got a pup. When I see that anywhere else, I know I can find it on Depop. The fold. Yeah. Exactly. Firewife 1212, welcome in. Okay. So next thing, this bomber jacket. Now, this has flaws, it has spots. I'm not going to try to get them out because someone else can. I'm at the point where I am all about profits, not projects. So unless it's something that I know I can get out in like under 60 seconds, like if I've got a white shirt that I know if I just put like a Q-tip and a little bleach on it and do a little and it'll come off, then I know, then great. If it's like a $250 item, I'll probably do it to that. You know, I'm going to clean it up. But I've gotten into this mentality of like profits, not projects so much that I'm not really worried about the stains and stuff anymore. I just disclose them. I would at this point rather make $5 less on an item and not do all of that and just get it sold than not do that, then do the other way and have to like take a whole day to wash stuff and all of that. Now there's certain times you got to wash. I'm not saying don't ever do it. I'm just saying I'm a little bit more selective than I used to be about it. I don't know if anybody else is as well, but that is me. Oh, let me put this back up too. Where is that? There we go. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here. So now same thing for this jacket. If I try to take a picture of this and I do like this whole jacket from here, it's going to be so small by the time I can get photos of it. So what I'm going to do is take these arms and I'm just going to tuck them back a little bit and make space. Now, the other thing you can do, and I've done this with jackets as well, is you can take your sleeves and tuck them in here, and you can do a photo like that. I know that seems so weird, but that actually sells, and I've done this quite often. I'm not going to do it on this one because I want to have this stuff in the first photo, which is the fact that this thing is thrashed. So on this one, I'm going to do bomber jacket, but I am going to do trashed on it is what I'll say, because it is trashed. There is a lot of holes, but you know what? That is not for me to worry about. That is for somebody else, and that somebody's going to buy this jacket just because of that. So I'm going to get up really close here. We're going to make sure our exposure is good, and we're going to get that coat. And then my next photo that I really want people to see is this Inspector General Association thing. So I'm going to get up close and personal on that. Okay. Now, always for jackets, you got to do the insides. And this is a feather foam. It's down, it's vintage, so it'll still sell for well. And most importantly, the inside of it is still really nice. So we'll still get a good amount for this one, even though it is super trashed on the outside. I think this is probably wool down here. It might be acrylic, but it has definitely seen better days. But with it still being foam and feather and all that. The other thing is, of course, check your pockets. I was doing a coat, like, I don't know, maybe like a couple weeks ago, and I was photographing a coat, and there was a pill in one of the pockets. And so we always want to be really cognizant of that. I had that happen one time with a purse when I first started reselling. I hadn't checked all the pockets well enough, and I went to, it had sold, and I was just kind of going through everything. I was going to put, some foam in it, make it look all nice, and hadn't realized that there was a pill in it, and I turned it upside down and a pill came out, and that could just be so dangerous. So we really want to make sure that we really check stuff. I know that seems like, of course I would check things, but I think sometimes when you're new, you just don't think of those kind of things, So I know we've got some newer resellers on here, so I want to make sure I do that. So same thing here. Now, there's two different ways you can do this. You can either take the arm and fold it back like that. The only issue with that is that if there's any spots or anything in here and they got hidden, somebody's going to say that you didn't disclose all the information. So I just tuck these in here, do the little Depop stitch, and look at how much smaller that coat is, and you're getting to really see that whole background as well. So there is that. And then we got to do we do measurements? I can't even remember. Sometimes I get to talking and I forget. I think I pointed the things out. I didn't do chest. So I have to do chest and length. I forgot to do chest and length. I got out of the pattern. So there is that. Chest and then length. And then same thing here. We'll just pop a tag on it. And then we call it good. And so how it works with these tags, which I really like how we've been doing this, is when the item sells, Justin just has a little container in there where the shipping is. And then he just takes the little thing off the tag once it sells, puts it in here, and then I just take and put it back up here. And it has been really, really nice. It has been wonderful. All right, next up we've got grandmas or angels. Yeah, they are. Leah, welcome in. Ashley, great to see you. Andy, I hope you guys learned something new today. Little Donna! Hey, baby, good to see you. Firewife, I am happy you are here. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. We're just getting some work done, hanging out together. Shooting the shite, being humans. All right, so same thing here. Now, this is a perfect example of an item where I want my opening photo to be like a close-up look. So what I do is I take this arm here and I tuck it behind. The reason I do that is because it helps to flatten out this portion of the item. So now this is like super flat looking, and I'll show you why that's important in a minute. Then I take this other arm, I extend it out, and then I bring it back in. And then because mine's hanging, I gotta put a little tape on it. So I just put a little tape here, and that is going to show that it is long sleeve. Now I understand that that looks insane, but there is a method to the madness, I promise. So then what I do is I come back here so I can get a good photograph of it. And let me get a good picture of it. Once I have it look like this, then I'm gonna crop it. So I just go to edit really quick, crop, and then we are gonna show all the meat and potatoes of this sweatshirt, which is gonna get this sold a lot faster. I go to adjust, oops, and I gotta straighten it out a little bit. There we go. Grandmas are angels. So I really want to show the meat and potatoes of this. And so this is what it looks like once I crop it. I've got the banger part of the shirt, which is the grandmas are angels. I've got the cool collar, and I'm showing that it's long sleeve. That I have been selling shirts like hotcakes ever since I started doing this versus the old way of doing it, which would be like to have things far apart. Once I do that, then I'm going to take and do my Depop arms, which is going to be folding this back here, bringing that flat, folding that there, and bringing that flat. And what that's doing is it's making this smaller on the board. Therefore, I'll be able to get more of it in the photograph than if I don't. So there's that. And boom. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to get the tag. This is by a brand called Chico, Cheeko, which I've never heard of. And then we're going to do shoulders. And after we do shoulders, we do the arms, length, and then chest. Bring that out. And then we're going to flip it and do the back. I'm going to bring these in. Again, same thing here. Just bringing in that outside arm. And then there we go. And now we get the dog hair off. That's got to be a Jack. And boom, done. Put a thing on it and we're good to go. 10, welcome in. I hope you guys are learning something new. If this information is helping you, give me like a thumbs up. Crapola, hi baby. Give me like a thumbs up or something down below to let me know that you are enjoying yourself and not bored by this information. Hopefully not bored by this information. All right, next thing we've got is National Matches, Trophy and Games, Camp Perry 2016. Mel says yes. Renee, Logan, yes. Okay, good. I'm glad. You never know when you're telling people this stuff. It's like, am I just being redundant? Is this helping anyone? Like, I spend a lot of time scrolling through, like, this sounds lame, but I spend a lot of time scrolling through Depop not because I'm trying to find something to buy, but I'm trying to see how the younger generation is doing things because those are the people that mainly purchasing. And so I want to make sure I'm keeping up with the ways that people are doing stuff. So, all right. So next thing here, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this arm. Now, question, why am I taking this arm and putting it behind? Because if I don't, and I try to do this, it's going to cause ripples in the shirt. But if I take this arm and I tuck it back here, then I can get that nice and smooth. And that way I can put that in the photo. So then we're going to take this and we're going to lay it out flat here. We're going to double it back. And then I'm going to show that this is a sweatshirt. There is that. Get that there. Perfect. Everything's nice and flat. And then again, I come back here just so I can get like good lighting for it. This is what it looks like when I take the photo. GNT, there's my Mingos, but it's so easy to crop. So if you're on an iPhone, you just hit edit, hit your crop button, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just trying to bring this in so that you can see that like date and everything and really get like as much as I can in there. Now that's going to be so much harder for someone to scroll past. So that if you're wondering what is going to sell that shirt, it's that right there. This is how I see when you guys ask me to edit your like your Poshmarks and your eBays and Depops and stuff. This is what I see so much. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it, but let me show you what I see almost always. This is what I end up seeing. Let me get that out. This is what I see, is this right here. Because you're trying so hard to get everything in the photo. This is what I see on your guys' pages, is that. Now, if you look at that and you look at that, which one of those two is going to stop someone from scrolling? Because by the time they can see that on their Depop, it's so small, or eBay or anywhere. It's like that, right? You just can't even see it, but you can still see that from that far away. So that's like the number one thing I've been trying to help you guys that have asked me to look at your accounts with is like, don't be afraid to get up close and personal. And it's like, what do you need to do to your setup to make that happen? Howard, welcome in. Okay. Once we do that, then we're going to go ahead and get a picture of the whole thing. And again, I'm going to tuck those arms behind so that I can make this item as small in the frame as I can and have what's going to make this sell in the middle, which is, of course, our big, huge logo. And this doesn't go just for sweatshirts. This goes for anything. So there's that. Okay. And that also, by the way, guys, is the back of that shirt too. And yes, that's going to be my opening photo because I don't care about this side as much. Like, this is important, but what's going to sell this is the behind. This has got a little bit of pilling. I have like a twinkle twinkle little star rule now. So I do twinkle twinkle little star to lit roll or to get deep pilling. If it's over that, then I just stop because time is money, right? The twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Done. That's it. If there's more to be done, someone can deal with it. I just got the main stuff off and we're ready to roll. All right, so then I'm going to take this and do that. Take this and do that. Make sure my tag is down if I can. And then we're going to get a picture of the front. Then I'm going to get a picture of the tag. And I'm just going to use my little thing here. Oh, wait, not that. Wrong thing. Where's my thing? I use my little button tool. By the way, if you guys have this, you can use this for this. This works great for holding down what your item is or the tag. So like I can easily put that down because this has like a rolled up tag on it. Okay, once I've done that, then we're going to do our measurements. So the first one I'm going to do is my shoulders. So I'm going to stretch that out. Now, because I haven't gotten up close and personal on this other logo, I'm going to use this opportunity to showcase that logo. And I'll show you what I mean in a second in my photos. And then arm length, and then chest, and there we go. So I'm using that opportunity of photographing those items in order to showcase that other part. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I'm going to take a picture of our tag so I know what my SKU number is, and perfect. Okay. So we didn't really show that the front of that, right? Like that we didn't showcase it like we did the back. So when I take a picture of the chest, I'm going to take that opportunity to make sure I include that in. And then same thing when I did the shoulders is I'm taking that opportunity. So I'm constantly thinking when I'm taking photos, like, how can I showcase the like banger stuff on this, which would be like the logos, like where's your hits, right? how can I put those hits and also be using that photo as one of my like photos for my measurements. So like if this has like if it was a Champion hoodie and it had a C on the edge here, I would make sure that I get that. I'd use that for my arm measurement, and I'd probably try to include it in one of my other measurement ones too. Or like if you're selling like a Lulu shirt, like when you do your measurements on your Lulu, because a lot of times like the Lulu hits will be like on the back, like of the shirt or whatever, turn the shirt around, do your measurements from behind so that you can include that Lulu. There in marketing it's called exposures. You're basically what you're doing is you are creating multiple exposures for people so that they're constantly seeing that logo over and over again to drive into their mind that they want to purchase that item. So just a little tip. Coastal, good to see you, my friend. INC, hello. How is Coastal Picks today is the question. Okay, next up here. Got another one of these just blank shirts. I know it seems like such a crazy thing to sell, but all these like blank hands and all this, they've just been selling for me. So I love it. And I find them usually pretty cheaply because like even at like the thrift store or whatever, they're usually pretty cheap. The vintage ones are because nobody buys them because they're just blank. I'm like, I'll buy them because I know I can make money. So we're going to get all the little hairs off here. Little lint roll action. Little removal of the yuckies action. Well, wherever I got this one, it had some, there's like it lived with a husky. Who in here has dogs? Who has dogs where they have to like deal with hair? We don't have a husky, but we do have Jack, and Sally, who are our little hairy beasts that definitely, if I like get a bundle of clothing and I like leave it in the living room on the floor or something, which, I mean, we don't really do that, but if I were to do that, I would get some serious dog hair on that. I love it, the lint roller. It does. It has a leash. It's great too because I can just drop it when I'm done lint rolling. And then I'm not like, I'm always trying to think of like, how can I be the most efficient? And like one of the things that takes so much time when you're doing pictures or you're doing any of this is the setting down and picking it up. It's why I have my phone on a lanyard. Because the more times you have to set something down and pick it up and set it down and pick it up, one, you can lose it. But two, it just takes time. So we're going to go like this and get all of these little hairs off. Now with this one being a blank, I'll probably just have my opening photo just be like a big opening blank photo so that people can see that this is a blank. Once again, if you're just joining us, make sure in your keywords and up in your title, you write that this is a blank, BLANK, and you will sell it much faster. So this is one of those things I think other people snooze on because they don't think that it'll sell. But the blank ones have been selling for me because they don't make them like they used to. All right, so once we've done that, we're going to smooth all that out. And then we're kind of doing our diamond shape there. And then here we go. So there is that. And boom, let's take a look at how that looks. And edit, try to get as much of this in the frame as we can. See, that's where I've taken a picture and I'm like, I don't really like it. So we're going to trash that one. I'm going to bring this in just a little bit here. I'd rather have this bigger in the photo. So I'd rather have that have more just like a wrinkled natural way there. Let's take a look. I think this is going to be better. And let's do that and then we'll crop it. When you guys are taking photos, if you find that you're getting close to your items and it's getting spotlighted, just take the picture from a little bit further away and then you can just stretch the photo and edit it to make it fit the space. So just like that. I like that better. You can see more of that in the frame. Okay, once we've done that, then we'll just do the tag while we're here. Little Hanes Premium, made in Honduras. So this is going to be definitely like a late 90s, early Y2K. And then we'll do our shoulders and move on. And there is that. This is definitely like a little And the other thing with these too, make sure in your keywords for your any vintage sweatshirts, if they're like this and they're like loose and baggy feeling, make sure you do loose, baggy, and oversized in your description down below. So loose, baggy, oversized. You also want to make sure you do streetwear. That is definitely the aesthetic for this. It would be streetwear, it would be preppy, and then it would also be like academia, frat, 1990s. Also, you can do 1990s and 90s. I do both of them. Blank. You can also put down in your keywords. Oh yeah, this is one of the things I almost forgot. Down in your keywords for these blanks, you can also put on it upcycle, which means that because this is a blank item, you are able, that someone might be purchasing this to upcycle this. A lot of people are buying these old vintage sweatshirts and then cutting portions of it out and putting, you know, different t-shirt backs and different stuff like that. Oh my, I gotta plug my iPad in. All right, let's plug our iPad in. Step number 3, be prepared. Spooky lasagna. Welcome in. Krampus! Welcome back, guys. Good to see you. I hate getting dog hair in the packing tape when packing. Dude, I know, right? That's the one nice thing with Justin's shipping in the garage, because the dogs are not out there ever, is we don't have to worry about that, which is nice. But yeah, the dog hair situation is, it's a real ski. So one more time, if you guys are just joining us, we're just taking photos here. So we're going to do that same thing where we're creating that diamond in the center here. And then that way we're getting more of it in the photo. And then there's our back and picture. And then we're going to do our little thing here and then moving right along. Singing that same old song, moving right along. Footloose and fancy free. All right. And then next up, we've got these crazy, I've got 3 of these. They're like these really super cool old vintage horse riding shirts, which is nice. Mine is horrible. For 11 viewers says and has a dog as the logo. I like Funk Toe Brother, check it out now. The Funk Toe Brother, check it out. Okay, that's one of my 4 a.m. songs. A 4 a.m. song is when you have severe ADHD and you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and that song starts and then you can't get it out of your head. All right, so now for these, I'm going to do a picture of this jacket open first. Now, this is not going to be my opening photo, but since it's already open, I might as well get a picture of it open rather than buttoning it to take a picture and then unbuttoning it to take a picture of the inside and then rebuttoning it again, right? Always thinking like, how can we make our processes better? And then same thing for this tag here. While I'm here, I might as well get a picture of this tag. And I'm going to use my little button tool here to get a photo. There's that. And let's get this other part of the tag here. Come on. Lay down. I said lay down, Mr. Tag. Here we go. Perfect. There she be. All right, now we'll button it and get a picture of the whole thing. Snap, snap, snippity snap. Come on, snap it. I said snap it. Why won't you snap? Snap. Okay. And then we're going to do our back. Now for this, I will make that, the back picture is going to be our opening photo, but we'll take that last just because we're already on the front. Let's fold that tag down. All right. So here is the front of this. Perfect. We'll do our measurements and then get our back. So the first thing we're going to do is our shoulder area here. And then of course, while I'm doing this, I'm also looking for like, you know, little flaws. This is a good time to be looking for flaws when you're taking these measurement photos too. Like, especially under the armpits. I don't know how many shirts I've caught that either have pit stains or like there's a little tear or something in it. But this is going to be our opening photo, is this back, because this is this is where the hit is, right? So we're gonna go like this. I'm gonna get a picture of the back, and then this will be our opening photo. And I might even, let's see what that looks like. Because I may do that. I think I might make that our opening photo. Because that's like boom in your face. Curvy chick. I'm a curvy chick as well. Welcome to the party. Yes, like that times of 51st dates. Oh my God, that movie has come up like 3 times this weekend too, for some reason. I must be needing to watch it. That is definitely we were talking about. Oh, I know when it came up because on Valentine's Day, Justin and I were trying to figure out like what we wanted to watch and stuff. And I was like, I realized I'm not really like a rom-com girl. I'm not really like a romantic movie kind of gal. We were trying to Justin, we were trying to come up with like romantic kind of movies I like, and I realized like it was 51st Dates. That's what I like. I do like I like The Notebook. I mean, what girl doesn't like that, right? But like, I think I'm like, I don't know. What is your guys' favorite movie style? Does anybody have like a favorite movie type? For me, it's definitely I'd say it's well, I mean, I love true crime. I like a lot of true crime. But I also like a little sci-fi stuff, and I also like comedies. I'm a big comedies person. Okay, there's that one there. And then next up, I've got 3 of these. So I'm going to take these pretty much all at the same time. That way my keywords are already done. So all I have to do is copy and paste my keywords from one to the other, which is nice and easy. Nice and easy. Okay, perfect. All right, and here's this. And then we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to get a picture of the inside first. It's pretty much unbuttoned. This one's got a little spot here. And then I do always take, like, if I've got something that with a tag that has, like, tons of little things sticking off, a lot of times I'll just get those. That's an easy, quick fix. All right, I'm going to get the inside here. I don't know what that is there. That's like an old price tag sticker. That's funny. All right, so inside first. Done. All right, now we're going to get our tag here. This one is by a company called Dunbrook, which does seem a little bit familiar to me. And did that get, yeah, I got that a little bit. Okay. And we'll get you buttoned up here. And boom. This one's got kind of a couple little flaws on it too, so I need to make sure I point those out. It is an old boy. These are old boys. So we're going to fold our things under there. And there's that. Yeah, you know how I know that this folding under the arms thing is working? The stuff that I'm listing, like the newer stuff that I'm listing, is selling so much faster than my old stuff. Just because it's like you can see more of it. Like it's more noticeable. It's catching people's eyes more. So I'm definitely going to continue doing that for sure. There's that. All right. And then the one that I really am interested in is this back thing. So we're going to get this tucked in and we're going to make this back. We're going to try to show as much of that as we can. And I'm going to go back here and then I think I'm going to crop this to get as much of that in as I can, just so it really shows. So that's how I'm going to do that one, just because it really like brings people in. Anne-Marie, welcome in. Kiddo Finds, welcome in, you guys. Narcolepsy here. I can't do movies and except to remain awake past the first 5 minutes, dude. I'm the same way. I think a lot of it is like, I think it's a mixture between like my ADHD and I just don't sit still very often. So if I actually sit down and I start relaxing, that's when it gets me. Is I'm finally relaxed and I'm like not doing anything, I'm out. Unless the movie is really, 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 really horrible, and then I tend to stay awake. And then I get to the end and I'm mad that I wasted my time, but it's like I was waiting for it to get better. I don't know if anybody else does that, but okay, once we do all that, then we'll get one full back picture here of the back. And Perfect. Okay. And then this one definitely has like a few little flaws, but it will be mentioned in the listing. And then I just take my little tag here. This whole hang it up system has been incredible. It is making my photographing and everything so much faster. And we got one more of these. I know there's 3 of these. So crazy. LOL, and our officials think I can do surveillance work from a disability standpoint. Yeah, probably not. You'd be like, for love of humor, you'd be like, I'm watching. Midnight. All right, we're gonna do the inside of this one here. And this is just like our first one, but this one definitely has a few spots on it. But we're not gonna worry about that. You know why? Because we're gonna let somebody else that's purchasing this worry all about that. Perfect. All right. Now we're gonna button you up. God, hearing these old Snap jackets like just brings back so many memories of childhood. Back when things would close and you could like hear them closing. All right. I'll pull that in there. Perfect. And front picture. And then we're going to do our shoulders. We'll do our arms. We will do our length. And then we will do our chest. Wonderful. And then we're going to flip it over here. And we're going to get this back section here. And I want to showcase that horse part of it. So we're going to do one picture here. And then we're going to kind of zoom in. That one's got a spot on the back. I think I'm going to not do the close-up picture. I'd rather do the far away picture, have someone not see the spot right away, but then point the spot out as a secondary picture versus the front. Like that spot right there may very well come out. That could just be something from sitting in a box. But it's just not worth it to me to try to get it out. It's like, I'd rather make a few dollars less on this and not take my time doing that. That is me. Camp Admirable. Welcome to the party. I hope you're having a really great day. I hope it's amazing Monday, and I hope it's going to be fruitful for you in so many ways. If you guys haven't had a chance to look at this bad boy, I'm wondering if I have the pants for this. I may hold off on that for a second just to see if I have the pants for that. If you guys haven't had a chance yet, I do have a show tonight. Oh my God, it's such good t-shirts. So I am doing a consignment show for somebody, a local guy that I met at a garage sale. I am running his vintage shirts tonight. Oh my God, they're so good. They're so good. It's just like, they're disgusting. They're literally disgusting. They're so good. They're so good. So if you guys want to see some vintage bangers tonight, I'm going to do a show this evening. You are welcome to come in. Even if you're not trying to buy vintage clothing, if you just want to see some like super fire, insane, nuts balls, absolutely ridiculous stuff that you'll never see again, I would come by. It's good enough that as I was going through the stuff, I was literally like every 5 seconds, I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, you don't get to come across curated collections of vintage t-shirts very often. I mean, I've been doing this, I've been reselling now for a few years. I've been full-time for like a year and a half. And in all this time I've done this, and I have done the majority of what I do is vintage clothing. I have been doing vintage stuff, and I have never, in all of the time I've done this, ever come across the stuff that this dude has. Like, it's just insane. You can tell he spent a lot of time, love, and care, finding it. It's been a treat going through his stuff for sure. So, Cuban, welcome in. Yeah, so if you guys want to check that out tonight, if you click on my profile, you can just pop over and bookmark the show for tonight. It looks like, I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. It looks like just like this. I think it says, what did I title it? I don't even remember. Vintage Bangers All Night. It's that one right there. So we're doing that tonight. And then we have a whole bunch of other ones that are booked. Those dates are probably going to change slightly, but if you want to bookmark them, I would appreciate it. Those are the shows from last week that we had to move to this week because I literally couldn't lift my arm. Oh my God, guys, it was so bad. So when I woke up, it was like the 9th of February or whatever it was. It was like that Monday. It was barking at me on Sunday night. So it was Super Bowl. It was barking at me Sunday night. I was just like, God, it's so sore. And then I went to lay down and I was like, God, it's so sore. It was so sore. I had a hard time sleeping. I slept with an ice pack on my back. It was just really sore. It's kind of like my normal shoulder thing. I have my shoulder blade likes to pop out of place. And so it was just really sore. And then this is what really did it. I woke up on, I guess it must have been either this happened late Sunday night or Monday morning. I can't remember, but I woke up and I went to stretch. And I just was like, because I have to stretch for about 20 minutes in the morning. I have like a whole routine I do. Otherwise, when I get up in the morning, I'm like this. My body is just like super tense. And so I stretched. And when I stretched, I could feel it. It was like, I went like this really hard. And it was like pop, boing, clunk. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, not good. Oh, good, not good. So I go hobbling out and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Justin's like, what's wrong? And I was like, oh no. And he's like, what, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And I sat down on the couch and I'm like, oh my God. What is it? I was like, oh, and all I did was touch my chest area with my fingers. And I knew. I was like, oh my God. And then we couldn't figure out exactly what I had pulled. And then of course we found out that it was the pectoral muscle, but Verdi Cow, welcome in. So that was last week. That's why all the shows are messed up. So if you would like to bookmark the shows I've got coming up, that would be amazing. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Just know that those are subject to change, except for the one tonight. The one tonight is definitely happening. I already have stuff prepped for it and ready, and I am very excited. Oh my God, these shirts, y'all. Oh, they're so good. I hope some of the people that know about vintage t-shirts pop in too. I just want someone that like knows or sells vintage t-shirts to come in and be like, oh my God, those are crazy. Because they are insane. All right, getting this one done here. So again, this is just another little blank. I know these seem like such a boring thing to sell, but they've been selling and it's been like a nice little steady seller. So I will take it. I don't mind steady sales at all. Okay, I'm just getting it kind of rotate it a little bit. There we go. Perfect. All right. And then we're going to do our tag. So this is on old jerseys tag. So this is going to be, this is the long boy. This is probably like an 87, maybe. 87, I'd say 87, 88, maybe. Right in there. Nice little old school sweatshirt. You know what's a real trip is if you feel, I don't know if you guys has anybody had this experience? Have you guys had the opportunity to have like a vintage sweatshirt in your possession and then touch like a newer shirt and feel the difference? Has anybody had the opportunity to do that recently? Because the clothes that you're getting out of the stores now are like getting more and more and more plastic. I mean, the majority of the clothing now is it'll say not nylon or it'll say like polycite. There's a couple other words that they use now, but it's basically just plastic. And it just feels so different. If you get the chance, just for fun, this is how I learned the eras of things. This is how I learned materials. Was I would go in when I was thrifting and I would wear like one of my vintage t-shirts. And this is how I learned the sound. So I don't know if anyone has ever seen me do that, but a lot of times when I'm trying to figure out the date of clothing, especially if it's a t-shirt, you can really hear it. You can hear the sound difference. The old shirts have a bass sound and the new shirts have a treble sound because obviously it's nylon fibers and plastic. So it's like ding, ting, ting, where the old stuff was like thunk, thunk, thunk. Anyways, if you get the opportunity next time you go thrifting, wear in a vintage shirt. And when you go to look at clothing, you can use that to like figure out the date and era of your clothing. So you just listen to it. Hear how that's like dunk, dunk, dunk. Hear how that's low. Let's see. Do I have a newer? I do. Okay. Here's the difference. Right. We're going to do this together. So this is new. So this is going to be modern. Okay. Listen. Can you hear it? How it's like ting, 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 ting. Now listen to the old one. Hear how it's low? That's vintage because it's cotton. It's real. It doesn't have any plastic in it. And it goes for t-shirts too. So if you're trying to figure out when your clothing is from, you can listen to it. And the best way to learn that is go to like a local store, right? Next time you're shopping, next time you go to Ross or you go to somewhere, wear an older shirt in or something, or bring one with you and listen to it and then listen to the clothing. I know you may look like a crazy person, but who cares what you look like as long as you're learning something and you're making money, right? Same thing with thrifting is you can wear in like an older shirt and then go in and listen to the t-shirts. It'll help you to learn. You'll notice that the change happens really dramatically around like 2015 is when you'll really hear it changing. Between like 2000 and 2010, it all sounds about the same. It's like the t-shirts are all boxy and it'll be like thunk, 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 thunk. Then it starts to change around 2011 to 15, and you start hearing a little bit of like thunk, 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 because they started kind of incorporating more nylon and stuff in. Once like 2016 happens, it starts to downcline deeply. And Riz has told me why before, and I can't remember what she called the process, but it starts to really change in that era. Then it drastically changes around like 2021. So like post COVID, I don't know exactly what happened, but they started doing something different and things really start sounding bad. And then of course the newer stuff, I mean, if you're buying newer clothing, I think you have to just know that it's not going to wash and last as long as older stuff. So you go into it knowing that. And then the other thing is you have to go into it thinking about materials versus brands. And what I mean by that is like if I'm getting clothing to resell and it's newer clothing, I'm looking for 100% cotton. I am looking for cashmere, wool, linen, viscose. I think I said wool. Can't remember if I said wool. I'm looking for mohair. I'm looking for goat skin. I'm looking for leather. I'm looking for materials that will last because a lot of this newer stuff, like let's see what's in this shirt. I think this one might be a cotton. Yeah, this is 100% cotton. I don't know if I have anything that's like, because I don't really sell that stuff, but maybe this one. Yeah. So this one here is a 100% acrylic. This is not something that I would purchase for myself because it's not going to last very long. And you can even see on here some of the fibers. Can you guys see that? See how the fibers are already pulling up? And it's because of what it's made out of. So when you find things that are made out of acrylic or you find things that are made out of nylon, poly and like poly blends, a lot of that stuff, it's so much plastic that the likelihood of it lasting. For instance, let me show you this. So this is a super old, like this is a very old shirt. I don't even know when this is from. This is an old boy. This is an old vintage shirt. This thing has probably been washed 100 times. And you look at it and you can barely see the fibers on it. You can barely see the fibers coming up. But you look at this shirt here, and this one has only been washed probably twice, and it already has its fibers. They're already, I think I can grab them. They're already pulling up because what that is this is all just plastic All this stuff that's coming off here is plastic. So, I mean, I'll sell just about anything. If you give it to me, especially if it's a good price, I'm going to sell it and put it up because somebody's going to want it. Not everybody cares about this kind of stuff. It's just, if there's any advice I could give you guys when it comes to reselling clothing, is learn your materials, learn your clothing, learn eras and decades, because the majority of the stuff that we sell it because of the material it's made out of, the banger design that's on it, or the decade it came from, because people are looking for vintage. Like if I look at, let me take a look at the stuff that's sold. So what's sold yesterday and today was like this Duke starter shirt. The reason this sold is because here's an old Duke shirt. The reason this sold is because the material on this is going to be such quality compared to like a new starter polo. Like if it was a new starter polo on resale, I could probably get like $8. I think we got like 20 something bucks for this, 20 bucks for this, 18 bucks for this. Same thing here, a vintage drug rug. Those sell well. Whereas versus this Nike tee that I don't even know how I got this, but this thing sold for $6. You know why? Because it's garbage. I mean, if I'm just being completely honest, it's trash. So, best of 11, welcome in. Praying mom, welcome in. Can you demonstrate that again? Yes. Okay. So when you're listening to the material, I'll give you the new one first. So this one's even cotton. Let's see. Will this make a sound? Oh, this one's even better. I'm going to use this because this is acrylic. So this is a 100% cotton one. It's a J gel, so it's not like a horrible one. But like here's one. So this is 100% acrylic. Okay. So if I listen to this, you're going to hear two things. So with this one, you're going to hear the tin, and with the other one, you're going to hear bass. So here is the tin. It's like ting 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 ting. It sounds like wobble 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 wobble. So that's that one. And then if you're listening to a vintage piece, hear how that's low? Can you guys hear that? Is that coming through? Give me like some sort of sign if you can hear that, because I will turn off the fan if you can't hear it so that you can hear it better. Because I want you guys to hear that difference. And learning how to do this, you can do this with pants too. And I don't have any pants in here right now, but you can listen to the jean. Coastal says yes. Okay. You can listen, only the vintage one comes through. Yeah, because this is, let me turn off the fan for a second so you guys can hear. Here is this one again here. So this is the acrylic. So this is the new like tin. It's so high pitched. And then this. It's like, it's so different. You can hear it. I'm doing that with my clothes right now, Vertical. Yeah, you guys are welcome. That is going to teach you the era something came from. And it's also going to teach you about the quality. So the deeper the base, the more cotton, the more real fibers that are in there. But you could even tell the difference between this cotton, right? This is 100% cotton. So is this one. But even this one sounds higher because the way that it's threaded between the warp and the weft, there's spaces in between it because they're trying to save on cotton. So the weaves aren't as tight, which is why if you look at this sweatshirt, see how this collar looks kind of blown? See the warbles? It's really big. Yes, it's a boat collar, but it still like doesn't look as crisp. If you look at this cotton though, look at this, look at that collar. It's still perfect. And this thing is like 40 years old. And it's over 40 years old and it's still perfect because the way that they wove stuff back then, all of the threads, the warps and the wefts were so tight together that it would keep the clothing and it would last forever. But with the new stuff, they leave a little bit of space because it keeps the cost of their cotton. So if they're doing this shirt here and they're able to leave space in between it, that's why it looks so sad on the hanger. They're able to leave space in between it. They're saving money because they're not using as much thread on every single piece. Whereas this, they weren't worried about that back then. Back in this era in the 80s, if you didn't make a blender that lasted 40 years, no one was going to buy from you. If you didn't make a washer and dryer that was going to last 40 years, or a car that was going to last 40 years, or anything that was going to last 40 years, your brand went downhill. Now it doesn't matter because now it's all about quantity, not quality. And somehow that unfortunately changed throughout the years. So it's a good little tip for you guys to be able to know what to purchase. All right, I want to see how far I got on that shirt because I wasn't sure. Okay. I couldn't remember where we were at. All right, there is that here. And then I'm going to get a picture of this. And then I am going to actually jet out of here and grab myself some lunch because I'm getting hungry. So I've got that show coming up tonight. If you guys want to come hang out this evening, and if you just go into my profile, you'll see it. That is the Vintage Banger Show. We'll be doing giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be going on tonight. And then if you guys can go through and bookmark these other shows, the date of all this is going to slightly change this week because I have to edit stuff out because we got our schedule so messed up from last week. So I got to kind of play with some stuff today. But if you want to at least give them a bookmark, that way when I get the schedule set, you'll get a notification. I hope welcome in, Ellie. Okay, so last thing, we're just gonna pop over and do a raid real quick here. So if you guys wouldn't mind putting up some pirate flags when we go over, and then I will see you guys tonight one more time. Thank you guys so much for all the well wishes for this last week. It really does mean a lot to me when you guys reach out and just say, hey, I hope you're doing okay, and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and let's do a raid. Let's see if we've got anybody on that we know, and let's take a look here. We've got do you guys want, I'll give you a choice. Do you want women's contemporary? Do you want storage unit finds? Women's contemporary or storage unit finds? Oh, thanks, Carrie. I appreciate that. Storage unit finds or women's contemporary? Vertical says storage. All right, we're gonna go over to storage. So we're gonna go over and visit my friend Tribid. She is absolutely fantastic and always has the coolest stuff. One of my favorite cups I've ever gotten in my life, I got from her. So say hi from me, and I'll see you guys tonight. Bye, everybody.